came back home early today, a lot earlier than I expected actually. So I have time to do the next stream, otherwise it was originally going to be tomorrow. And yeah, today we're gonna get the final talisman. We've already gotten the fire talisman from the Lost City, the earth talisman from the hand mages, and now the water talisman from the opera house. Not necessarily in that order, of course. And today we're gonna get the air talisman, the final one that we need, the final piece of the puzzle. And if you recall correctly from the note, a few missions past, that one is being held, well, not really held. That one is with the Hammerites, basically. So let's go.
Getting the talisman of air will be an interesting challenge, but I'll need it if I want to get the eye for Constantine. It's well hidden inside the city's hammer temple, so I'll have to do some scouting around. Problem is, the place is fully active day and night. Not even I can stay undetected for very long. Well, they say that the best place to hide a letter is on the mantelpiece. With that in mind, I'll be going in by the front door, dressed as a Hammerite novice. That should be perfect since novices aren't allowed to speak while on the temple grounds. My contacts can get me a novice's pass to get me through the gate. Once inside, I'll be free to take my time, explore the place thoroughly, and find the talisman. As long as I don't do anything violent or get caught somewhere I shouldn't be. Because as the new arrival, I'll be the first person they'll suspect if anything goes wrong.
Alright, so this is honestly the most interesting mission, not just in Thief Gold, but in the entire Thief franchise, in my opinion, in general. Because for the first time and last time ever, we're actually going to be going undercover. So instead of just sneaking around, I mean, we still have to be a little bit sneaky, I guess, but none of the Hammerites will actually get angry at us for just existing, but they will get angry at us if they catch us stealing things or entering restricted areas. These will be explained more as we start the mission. Now, I guess they never tried to do this sort of thing again, because this mission can be very glitchy, let me tell you. Like, sometimes I would make sure that there's nobody around. I would steal something, and then some random people on the bottom floor, for example, will actually get angry at me. So it's quite glitchy, but we'll pull through it. On the bright side, it's a very short mission. It shouldn't take more than half an hour or so. Or at least that's how long it takes me on regular playthroughs, around 25 minutes. But because I'm actually talking and explaining stuff as we go, it might take a bit longer. But yeah, it still should be a relatively short mission compared to all the others. So we need to, posing as a Hammerite novice, we need to present our credentials to the guard at the gate and enter the Hammerite temple. We need to search the temple and discover where the talisman of air is being kept. When we find it, we take it. And in the original game, this was actually two talismans. So the talisman of earth and air were actually in the temple. Whereas, because of course we're playing Thief Gold, there's only one talisman here. Oh, and while we're looting the place, we also need to steal the hammer's holy first hammer from the reliquary. Now, this is actually a special item like Baffled Scepter, meaning that it doesn't get added to your loot count. So you need to keep that in mind. In addition to stealing the talismans, this is actually a typo left over from the original game. We need to also steal 2,400 worth of valuables while we're in the temple. This is the highest loot goal we've had so far. But don't worry, it might seem very intimidating, but there's like a big, like around 50% of the loot in the entire mission is literally in one room. So this is actually really easy to get. Of course, don't kill any of the Hammerites while we're on the job, and once we've achieved our objectives, get out of the temple and back to the city streets. Yeah, very interesting mission. I'm actually gonna grab some gas arrows for this one, though. I don't really need the water arrows. I don't need the moss arrows either. In fact, I might just get the gas mines as well. These are really expensive, but basically, I don't think we've had gas mines yet. Gas mines are essentially regular mines, but they just put the target to sleep. So they're a non-lethal mine, essentially, as you might expect. What else should I get? Maybe one of these, and yeah, I guess I'll get some water arrows, why not? And here's the map. We actually have a quite descriptive map of the complex. We're gonna start out in the city streets, of course, and that's where we need to end up at the end of the mission. We're gonna walk in through the front gate, as Garrett mentioned. And immediately inside, this is the upper floor. There's the main chapel. It has a little bit of loot that's actually the glitchiest piece of loot. I don't even know if I'm gonna go for it this time, to be honest. The reliquary is where the special loot item is. It's very easy to grab. There's a library with... I don't think it even has any loot, but it has some interesting lore that we're gonna read through for the Hammerites. And these barracks here don't really contain anything of note. The lower floor is very important for us. The High Priest is at the center of the entire floor, and he's actually important to us because he has a couple of items that we're gonna need in order to get the talisman. I'll explain more about that once we get there. The outer guard doesn't already have anything, but the graveyard does. The graveyard has some loot. The sparring rooms don't. The novice quarters don't. But the priest quarters also have some loot, as you might expect. And then in the basement is also going to be important for us. Mostly the kitchen, you'll see why. And there's also an Inquisitor in the basement. And location unknown, these are basically crypts. And the crypts also have some extra loot. And the crypts are also a very nice way to go around areas of the temple quickly and efficiently. Alright, so let's begin. Drop a save. As you can see, we're actually getting close to the end of the game. So next week, by Wednesday, we should be done with the game and all the missions. And then I'll start working on the actual video.
Knowledge is our weapon, with which we carve a path to an enlightened future.
Present thy credentials, novice.
Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to read through the note, basically. Which is this, the note that we started with. As approved by His Eminence, the High Priest Markander, we deliver unto you this novice, under the standard agreement of service. The novice is sent with full status and training as such, and should strive with humility and vigor, or serve with humility and vigor to the best of his skills. He will endure a standard 3-year contract of service, at the end of which he will be considered for indoctrination as an elevated acolyte. The novice has been instructed in the rules and strictures of the order, has sworn his warrants to be silent in his vigils, and knows to maintain the marked privacies, as indicated by the standard inverted red hammer sigil. So this is important for us. There are certain rooms marked with the symbol, and that means that if we're caught in those rooms by another Hammerite, they're gonna alert the entire temple, basically. So we need to make sure that we eliminate all Hammerites in the area before we start exploring. Which is, you know, just on par for the course. So I would say this is even easier than a regular mission, because we do this for regular missions already. Please remit periodic evaluations of his conduct as warranted or at a 6-month interval. May the hammer fall on the unrighteous. Officially, Brother Sachoma.
Open the gate!
Alright, so here... what I like to do is I like to knock these guys out, because they're gonna get in the way when we escape. And yes, you heard me right, escape. Also, the guy immediately inside, if he sees you stealing this, he will get alerted, so there's that. Now, in these rooms, as I said, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing, but...
Thou should not be in the barracks, brother. Remember that novices are not permitted.
yeah, there's a bit of unique dialogue there with that guy, and there's another guy in the other barracks as well. I don't actually know. I think if you stay in the barracks long enough, they will actually sound your alarm. So you do gotta be careful here. But again, there's nothing for you here, so no point in even entering these rooms. Unless it's your first time playing. I like how they mentioned the recent break-in in Crackscleft Prison. That's actually us.
Come close.
Yes, if you equip a weapon and they see you with it, they will actually get alerted. So you need to knock them out from behind. I like to dump them in this ditch here because I find that that is a very safe location because there's no way for anyone to see them. So I find that to be quite effective. Before I go downstairs, because the moment you go downstairs, a speech will trigger and those two guys will start patrolling, I'm gonna cover the upper floor first. Okay, so this, basically the entire temple has a lot of these readables, a lot of these books, which are basically from the Hammerite Compendium of Precepts, Regiments, and Rules of Conduct. This is volume 12, for example. And these are like really nice way to... what am I trying to say? It's a very nice way to showcase how the Hammerites operate in a way that feels very natural to the world itself. So they basically follow all of these rules like their life depends on them, basically. For example, this one states, "The builder gave thou the raw stuff of thy life. Make thou a great work of it, or thou mockest his gifts." So basically, be productive. Don't go and off yourself and all that stuff, you know. Very religious inspirations, obviously, but pretty cool to read either way. And now we also got this papyrus, and this is actually a very important note for us. "I'm a wall builder. Let my walls endure from season to season, year to year, and age to age. Let my walls stand while families toil, armies march, and empires fall. I'm a wall builder, and my walls will stand always as a shield against evil. This I pray, that will the master builder grant." This is actually a very important note for us, because it essentially removes a magic barrier that's protecting the talisman.
When prodded with enough vigor.
Meanest thou the action on de Wall's thugs?
Verily. Some have told me it was his own brethren who in sin didst turn him in.
Thieves betray their own. Now, as always.
Alright, so that's the reliquary. We have to knock out both guards, because if we don't, that guy who's always in the reliquary, he will actually spot you taking the hammer, so that's going to be bad, obviously. But I'm also gonna get rid of this guy first because he does patrol this floor, and that's also gonna get in our way. Okay, now we can get the hammer on the reliquary. That's already one objective complete. This map is really small. I think this is probably the smallest map in the entire game, which is also why it's so quick. And this mission is, I wouldn't say hated, but it's a bit underrated in my opinion. Yeah, like, yeah, sure, it's glitchy as hell, but overall, it's still a neat idea. So here we have 3 artifacts. We have the Forger's Child. This hammer was the first to be cast out of mold. It was brought into the world by Father Tenor, now sainted. And this is the original hammer, supposedly, the very first hammer. That's what we need. And here is the Sacred Skull of Saint Yora, builder of vision and devout keeper of the faith. This skull isn't worth anything, just like the other hammer. So we can safely ignore those two. Gonna move this body before anyone spots it, because again, this mission is a bit glitchy, and usually what tends to happen is completely unrelated folks can actually spot these bodies. So I don't like to leave anything just lying around in this mission, especially. Not taking any chances. Alright. Here we have nothing. And again, this area is mirrored, just like... And that's the graveyard down there. Hopefully it did not trigger a conversation. I think the conversation triggers if I'm down there. Okay, here's the library. This is a loud area, but this, as you can see, there's a red hammer sigil, inverted hammer. This means that this room that's locked is actually inaccessible for us. Which means that if we leave that guy who is patrolling...
That's what I would like to know.
The upper floor... Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got rid of him. But if we leave him patrolling up here, and if he catches us lockpicking this or being inside of the room, he will alert everyone. So that's how that works. Pretty self-explanatory. This is volume 36. Time once passed, the harlot did say to the priest, "Tarry a while and wait upon thy duties." And the priest did tarry. And then was the harlot scourged with birch branches, and was the priest crushed beneath the great gears, for the path of righteousness leads ever upwards to where it is perilous to fall. So this is basically proves that they're anti-simp. Pretty cool, not gonna lie. Pretty based. Temple authorization and access. Novices, as per the official books, are not permitted keys and are not allowed to enter restricted areas for any reason. These areas are to be designated by the standard red inverted hammer. Temple guardsmen may be permitted keys, but may enter restricted areas in pursuit of their function. Or are not permitted keys, sorry. Temple priests will be issued keys to most areas and are allowed in restricted rooms when authorized by the high priest. They're also, of course, allowed in their own quarters, but not in those of other priests. The high priest is granted the master key, has no restrictions to access, and will keep in his possession the holy symbol of the temple. So this is why the high priest is important for us, because he not only has the master key, which we can use to unlock all the doors, but he also has the holy symbol, which we need to gain access to the air talisman. So yeah, we definitely need to go downstairs and deal with that guy. Volume 141. I honestly don't know how many volumes there are, officially. When the builder came amongst his children and asked, "Who is it that hath spoiled this work?" Then did his errant son answer, "I do not know." Then did the builder cast down his son and smite him with his hammer. For is it not known that a mistake may be mastered, but a lie lasteth forever on the tongue? So be honest, basically. Volume 2. When the thief did cry to the master, "Release me, for I repent and shall do good all my days," then did the master strike the thief's hand from him with a blade. And the master said, "Go now and do good, for thy repentance has been paid. An eye for an eye." Volume 53. To use thy chisel is to blunt its edge against a stone. To not use thy chisel is to waste its edge. Volume 94. Guard thy tongue from falsehood as thou guardest thy purse from a jackablade. Guard thy hand from misdeed as thou guardest thy house from firelighters. Guard thy heart from doubt as thou guardest thy tools from corrosion. God, that's a mouthful. For thy faith and thy tools are the best that thou hast. Volume 108. Mortar cannot hold when the stone is not strong and clean. Before beginning thy endeavors, look to thy material, both physical and spiritual.
Vigilance is our shield. Protects us from our squalid
Okay, that sounds like the guys on
Knowledge
this
is our
floor, but I'm
weapon,
pretty sure
with which we carve
he's
a
someone
path
from below.
toward light and future.
I really hope I'm not gonna pitch this out here. Because I think there might be some loot behind this though. Yep, there is indeed loot here, okay. And more readables. Volume 7. When the builder walks before thee and builds for thee a fortress, wilt thou go inside and shut the door? Or wilt thou say, "Yes, and now I shall raise one of mine own"? This is probably my favorite one, because it's honestly very true and very wise. Volume 199. A flaw in the gear will fate it to shatter. A flaw in the beam harbors the termite. A flaw in a man's righteousness encompasses his death. And this chest is locked and there's no way to pick it. It doesn't actually contain any loot though. But the only way to open it is using the master's key. Or the high priest's key, or whatever. Here we have the chapel.
Time was, the sinners we take was to have no second chances. They were dispatched forthwith to explain their misdeeds to their builder.
Our strength and resolve. 'Tis not what it once was.
And see what our weakness hath gained us. Crime and sin reach to the very heights of the city.
Very short dialogue there that basically goes to show that yes, just like the dialogue between the two guards in front of Ramirez. Yeah, Ramirez. in the Assassin's missions. Sorry, I'm bad with names. Just like those two guards were talking about how the hammers are losing power, this further proves it, because they know within their own ranks that they're no longer what they used to be. Okay, so here I'm gonna knock both of these guards out. They did get alerted, but if you're quick enough, they won't have enough time to actually react. I'm gonna hide their bodies in this darkened corner here. Because I want that loot. Now I find that if I do this, it does actually alert people. Or it can alert people, I mean. So I need to be very careful here. Okay, I think we should be good to proceed.
Hast thought upon who is likely to succeed our master?
Surely not for many years.
Art thou blind? He is old, and the master forgers do jostle each other for precedence.
I spy not on my betters, 'tis in the builder's hands.
'Tis true, 'tis true.
God knows how old their master is. Old enough. Oh, crap.
Intruder! Beware!
Crap! He saw me. Yeah, so there's those two guys who start patrolling after the conversation, and there's also that guy who patrols already. So that's the guy whom we were hearing earlier. Okay, I gotta be very quick with this. Hopefully nobody spots me. Okay, I think we're good. Gonna go to my favorite ditch. Alright, one down, two to go. This is the only part that takes time, knocking out all the guards. Because you really have to be careful not to let any of them see you. These chests in the barracks, all of them are empty, just so you know. And there's nothing in the garden for us, at least not yet. This is the sparring room from the map. Okay, let's knock this guy out. Crap, come on. What's up with these hitboxes? Quickly, because the other guy will come here as well. Oh, okay, made it. Barely. Where's the last guy? Okay, here he is. Excellent. There are more guys that will have conversations and start patrolling, so that's why I'm also removing all these bodies. It's not just because, oh, glitch fest of a mission. Speaking of glitches, you're supposed to be able to climb those stairs with no issue, but yeah, I think it only happens when you carry bodies, though. I think when you carry bodies, your hitbox like shifts down a little bit or something like that, so yeah. Alright, let's go to the graveyard, because that has some loot and also another conversation.
Some do say the Baron means to raise the tariffs again, even on greens and meat.
The wretched man serves only the merchants and his own greed.
His grandfather cared less for his pocketed gold and more for his soul's health, but no longer.
The builder's truth it is that men without belief do soften and fail as rotten wood.
Although I don't necessarily agree with the belief part, I do see the parallel with how the things are nowadays in the real world. Like people just being extremely greedy and prioritizing greed over the well-being of others and like the just being a decent human being. You have all these mega corporations and stuff doing these shady things just for another extra buck. It's honestly disgusting, but yeah, that's topic for another time. Either way, it's nice to see the parallels. Like, there's that one saying, how does it go again? Art really, real life really does imitate art or something like that. And it's definitely true. Okay, the other guy, where is the other guy actually? Ah. No, really, where did he go? I'm not going crazy, am I? There was another guy. Did he... What happened to him? Oh, there he is. Oh, he goes around the garden, okay. I'm gonna leave him in the garden. The garden should be a safe place to leave bodies behind. Nobody else enters the garden and it's relatively dark, so it should be fine. Alright, you probably saw them, but there are vases in the actual graves. 5 of them, or maybe even 7 actually, I don't know. Wait, 1, 2... Yeah, 5 of them to be exact. And each grave is actually named. So here lies Father Theo, a teacher without peer, yet ever a student of discipline. Take his ashes. Here lies Brother Terence, he fought the unrighteous to his last breath. No, he's not gonna need that anymore. Here lies the unhappy Brother Deo, buried here as a symbol of lessons not learned. He definitely doesn't deserve that. Here lies Brother Mason, truest of scholars. I'm sorry, Mason, but I need this more than you do. And here lies Brother Wainwright. May his wheels turn forever in the hereafter. Right, one of these is actually marked, and I'll get to that later. For now, let's actually go inside and take a look at these priest quarters, shall we? So, as you can see, each priest quarter is marked with the red hammer symbol. So let's tackle them one by one. Or let's not, because I need the key first. I forgot about that. Yeah, instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the high priest. Ironic how his door is the only one that's unlocked.
Alas, meant thou that to pain me?
That mistake shall cost thee thy life.
Oh crap, and I always aggro this guy. I don't know how to not aggro him. But yeah, he can actually cast spells at you, so he's quite dangerous. But I don't think he actually pulls the alarm. I think he just casts spells. There's obviously loot here. This is the symbol of the temple, which we need. And over here should be the master key. Yep, there it is. There's some more loot. And now we can actually open all these other quarters. And do note, all of them are empty. So you should be safe to open these as long as you get rid of those guards that patrol this area. So almost all of these rooms, except that one, I'm pretty sure, actually have loot in them. So it's very nice, very useful to actually enter these. And these are also unlocked. I completely forgot about that. For some reason I thought they were locked. I guess it makes sense for them to be locked, but I guess not. I guess it isn't for some reason. Okay, here we have some bread. Oh, another one. Volume 113. A shock of thy chisel once made canst not be undone, but a shock thou dost not make from fear is a worse flaw. Be not cautious, be correct. I really like the old English that the Hammerites speak in. Bottom 77. What is a tree but a tower that withers and dies? What is a pond but a cistern that stagnates and fills with muck? What is a patch of ground but a road which cracks and washes away? So this basically goes to show how the Hammerites view nature. Like, they really underestimate nature pretty much, and they view it as more of a tool than an actual, like, thing of its own. Or whatever. Kind of sad how the armory doesn't have any arrows. That would make perfect sense, but oh well. And this is the, I guess, common bathroom? Kind of weird, but whatever. And of course the kitchen has a lot of food for us. And also a very important note. Terrence, we're almost done converting the old kitchen into the new treasury. All of the kitchen stores have now been moved up from downstairs, and some of the church valuables can be moved down. Work should be completed within the week. Norman. So we know that the new treasury is in the basement. So that's why the basement is actually relevant. Because I believe in our map... Yeah. It still says kitchen in our map, so our map is a little bit outdated. So that's actually where the new treasury is. And this room that we were just in, the new kitchen, used to be the storage instead. So that's also a nice detail that I honestly never even noticed. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm not gonna go that way yet. Instead, we're gonna go downstairs. And I think I'm gonna do it from here. I guess it doesn't really matter from where I do it. Okay, we have only one guy patrolling the outside here. Let's get rid of him. Neutralize the threat. Move him there. These chests are empty. Yeah, so this is the sort of inner ring, and this right here is a forbidden room, and this is actually the old kitchen and the new storage room. We can use our priest key, and this is where basically the rest of the loot in the entire mission is. So this is what I meant with the loot go being very easy. Don't be threatened by it, even though this is not enough, but it's almost enough. There is some more loot to be had in the crypts though, so not to worry. Okay, and this is the... Oh no, never mind. This is some more storage rooms leading upstairs. But the Inquisitor is down here as well, and he also has some loot in his chambers. Yeah, right here. He's actually sleeping over there, so I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to knock him out. Nice! Normally he actually wakes up very easily, but I guess I got lucky. Yeah, here's some more loot. Volume 199. I think we read this one already. Yeah, we did. Oh, crap. And yeah, this is the torture chamber. Lovely. Okay, let's go down to the crypts next. Because the crypts have some more loot. And then we need to... I'll show you something that I honestly always forget how you actually find out about it the natural way, because I already know about it, but I'll show you how to actually get the talisman afterwards. Now, these crypts have a total of 5 vases, and I believe 2 guards, maybe 3. One of them is patrolling, the other ones are standing still. Move this guy to this darkened corner here. I can never remember where the 5 vases are, but they're relatively in close proximity to one another. And all of them are either on or next to these coffins. Yeah, like that. So there's one. That's so far only one. Okay, here's the other guy who's standing still. Okay, that's 2. And there we go, loot objective complete. 3. 4. And I believe the 5th one is... Oh, it's not there. Where is the 5th one then? Either way, that should be everyone in the temple knocked out, except the 2 guys in the barracks at the very start. Yeah, there we go, there's the 5th one. Alright, so now, I forget how you find this out. There's either like a secret note. I don't think there's a conversation. I think there's a secret note somewhere that you can find, but you actually have to pull... Okay, so here's the room. Behind those cages we have the talisman, so talisman in our case, and we need to do several things in order to get it. First, we need to stand on that platform while holding the holy symbol of the temple, this hammer thing that we picked up from the high priest quarters, and once we do, this bridge will extend. Then we need to open that gate, the one on the left, which has a lever which will open the gate on the right. And we do that by flicking on 5 levers in different areas of the temple, basically. And I'll show you where they are. And you need to flick all of them within 5 minutes, basically. Once we do that, I will show you how to proceed afterwards. But for now, let's go and flick all those levers. So the first lever is down here in the Inquisitor chamber. It's right behind this rack thing. And if you fail to do this in time, aka within 5 minutes, they will all reset, just so you know. So you gotta be quick about this. I'm pretty sure there was a note that actually told you where all of them are, but I can never remember where that note is. I think it's very well hidden. The second one is at the kitchen, or the old kitchen rather, which is what is now the storage room. Then we need to go upstairs. We have 2 more levers on this ground floor section. We have one in the garden. That's the only thing of note in the garden. You have a switch right next to this tree. Then you remember that marked grave, the one with the inverted hammer sigil, inverted hammer symbol. Yeah, that one is actually has the next lever for us. I believe it was this grave, the grave of Mason. There we go. And the last one is actually, you might have seen it if you have a keen eye. It's behind the Skull of Saint Yor in the reliquary. So right here. And once you hear that sound, that's good. That means that the gate should now be opened. So let's go get our prize, and then we'll get the hell out of here. I think I might be missing some loot, because I highly doubt that the mission wants you to get, like, all the loot. Because I think there's more than 2,700, but let's just hope that I have all of it. Either way, it doesn't matter. We got enough to end the mission, so that's all that matters in this playthrough. Yeah, so see? This is basically your hint that you need the symbol. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you can actually make this jump without the symbol. But you do need to open this gate. And once you open it, you can flick this lever. I don't know why they did it like this. Because even in the original game, I thought that maybe in the original game, instead of this lever, you had one talisman here and the other one over here. But no, it's the same in the original game. You just have both talismans in this room. And if you attempt to pick this up, it's protected by this magic barrier, which will damage you. And this is something else that I'm pretty sure you can find out with a note. But I already know this, so this is where this other thing comes in play. The wall builder poem. You have to basically read it. And that does trigger the alarm, but it allows you to actually pick up the talisman. So now all we have to do is get the hell out of here. This is why it's important to knock out every single person you come across in this mission. Otherwise, it's gonna be all chaos. And I'm pretty sure there's absolutely no way to prevent the alarm from going off. Again, I could be wrong, but I personally have never found such a way. And of course, because we did not knock out the guys at the barracks, they will now be alerted. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was one of them. He came down here. And the other ones are probably guarding the exit, so we need to be quick. Yep, there they are. Okay, it's okay. Just leave, and the objective is complete, and the mission will end. I guess in the lore, in the canon, Garrett just is fast enough to escape. And there we go. We entered the Hammerite Temple via the front entrance. So we found and stole the Talisman of Air. We also stole the first hammer from the Hammerite reliquary. We grabbed 2400 in loot while we were in the temple. We did not kill anyone, and we returned to the city streets. Very quick mission, as I said. Only took me 25 minutes in-game time and about 40 minutes stream time, which is pretty good. Let's see our stats. I did get all the loot. Wow. So you literally need to get almost all the loot in the entire mission, which is honestly crazy. But again, if you're persistent enough, it's still very easy to get it. I actually got it on my first try without needing a walkthrough, so there's that. I think there was only like 1 or 2 pieces of loot that I missed, which were ultimately insignificant. Yeah, there we go. 7 hours playtime so far. Pretty nice. So next time, as you might imagine... Did I save? Yes. Next time, as you might expect, we are gonna finally get the eye and get our payment. And game complete, right? Well, join us next time to find out. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a good one. Bye-bye.